You do no contact with your ex. That's really what we want to be talking about here today, because this is, of course, a very widely held belief that people need to use no contact with their ex. We're going to be having an honest adult conversation about this. So, pull up a chair. Let's have a real conversation about this. Let's not just, give this some sort of blanket statement that everybody always needs to do no contact or something like that, or that anyone doesn't need to do no contact, or whatever the case might be. But anyway, before we go ahead and get into all of that, hello, this is Clay with Modern Loved Out Life, where we help you get the great loving relationship you're looking for without having to play mind games, without having to play hard to get, without having to pretend to be someone or something that you are not. Because, of course, you deserve to be loved for the unique, amazing, and wonderful person that you are. All right, so hey, welcome. So you are here. You know about the no contact rule. You know that there are people that are saying you should do it. You know that people are saying it's like the holy grail of saving your relationship. And so let's have this conversation about whether or not this is something that you should do or not. Now let's be candid about this. No contact is a tool, right? It's a tool that you can use for various purposes, but it's not going to be a magic cure all. Okay. No contact, at least as far as I'm aware, was developed a very, very, very long time ago. It was even something that people were talking about way back in 2003 when I was going through all of the drama and stuff with my big ex, or at least the beginning of it back then. So it has been around for quite a while, and it's my understanding. It's my understanding that it was developed as a way for people to try to move on from their ex. They wanted to move on from their ex. They wanted to get over their ex. And so they said, hey, I don't need to be in contact with you. So I'm not going to be in contact with you. So I'm going to do this thing called no contact. And some people in that camp realized that, hey, look at that. My ex is contacting me, even though I'm doing this no contact thing. They're reaching out to me. And so that caused another group of people that actually did want to salvage the relationship with their ex to say, hey, look at this. Some people have stopped contacting their exes, and then their exes are reaching out to them after, a couple weeks or something like that, or a month or 2 months or something. Maybe we should use this to try to get our ex to talk to us again, because, obviously calling and texting and, apologizing a million times and sending handwritten letters and all that stuff isn't working. So that caused some people to kind of pick that up and use it as a tool. And, sure, some people did get some results with that, but not everybody. Not everybody got results with that. I've spoken to many, many people who have not gotten results with using no contact as a way to make their ex reach out to them. Now, again, don't get me wrong. If you just want to move on from your ex and, you don't need to be in contact with them for some particular reason, you don't have kids together, you don't live together, you don't work together, anything like that, then sure, okay, no contact is a totally valid thing that you can do. But if it is your attempt to try to get them to contact you, if it is your attempt to try to get them to miss you, if it is your attempt to try to make them want you back or regret the breakup or something like that, then it is my position that no contact is probably not the best tool for you. We're going to be getting over what that might actually be in a little bit. But before we do that, hello, if you are new here, if you do like these videos that we do, please make sure you hit the thumbs up button for the YouTube algorithm. This is a great way that you can help us out for free. Also, you may have noticed that we have launched our new course called New Beginnings. We're actually going to be doing a question and answer session with all of the New Beginnings students this Saturday at 9 a.m. Pacific time. So if you'd like to join us with that and you haven't already signed up, please sign up over at modernlove.life/NB for New Beginnings. All you have to do is sign up, and you can show up on the live Q&A coaching call that we're going to do on Saturday morning. It's going to be kind of like the live streams that we do here, except it's not going to be text. I guess if people type in the chat section, we can do a text thing, but it's also going to be like talking back and forth, which I find more helpful because, if I don't understand something, I don't just have to try to read between the lines or something like that, or say, hey, can you clarify that? And then I have to wait, 5 minutes for somebody to give me some sort of message. We can actually just talk it out. And I find that a lot more helpful. So, it's going to be helpful. It's going to be cool. It's going to be useful. And, it's going to be for the students inside New Beginnings. So sign up if that's something you're interested in, if you haven't already signed up already. Anyway, all right. So no contact. The way that a lot of people actually use no contact is actually like a mind game, believe it or not, because a lot of the advice out there says, hey, you have to get your power back from this breakup because look at you, you're a mess. You're crying yourself to sleep every night. You're texting a million and one times a day. You can't stop begging and pleading and spying on them online and everything like that. You're a bloody mess. You just need to do this no contact thing, but most importantly, don't let them know you're doing it. Just do it like that. Just do it like a thief in the night. And they'll just be left wondering, like, where did that come from? Maybe they moved on. Maybe they met someone else. Maybe I'm not that amazing, and maybe I'm not that hot stuff after all. Maybe I do need to come crawling back over those broken shards of glass. And if that's your setup for using no contact, congratulations, you are playing mind games. Um, and so that's not how I recommend you do it if you are needing to do no contact. Now, so what are some reasons that you might actually need to do no contact? First of all, you might need to do no contact if you are just not in a good place to be in contact with your ex right now. Like if the fact that you are talking to them or you are interacting with them, tears you apart every day, if it is leaving you emotionally shaken or something like that, then yeah, doing no contact is probably for the best, but it's not as if time by itself is going to heal all wounds. You have to be willing to focus in on doing something actively to get yourself together. You need to do something actively to tighten yourself up and to say, okay, I'm going to heal myself emotionally. I'm going to get my mindset, my emotional world, and all that sort of stuff right. Of course, this is stuff that we talk about quite frequently on this channel. This is stuff that we talk about in New Beginnings, obviously. But you have to do that. If you're not there, no contact can be a great context for a lot of this healing work to be done. Um, Aside from that, if you do want to keep the door open to talk to your ex, you're probably going to want to let them know that you're doing no contact. Like, hey, please don't take this the wrong way. I just need to take some time for me to heal myself just after everything that we've been through. I'm not going out of my way to intentionally ignore you or anything like that. I just need to get myself in a better headspace. So I'm just gonna, take a couple weeks or however long you intend on taking to focus in on myself for now. I hope you understand it. I hope that we can, catch up later on. And that's all you have to do. No mind games done. Now, when it comes to other things that you might try to do no contact for, again, many people have this belief that no contact is something that you should do in order to get someone to miss you, in order to make them chase you, in order to regain power in the situation or something like that. And oftentimes a lot of people, a lot of even breakup coaches out there that you are probably following are telling you to do no contact because they believe that you are in damage control mode. They believe that you are in this panicked state of mind where you can't put the phone down and stop texting them. You can't stop begging and pleading. You can't stop spying on them. You can't stop, doing grand romantic gestures and things like that. And like their stance is like, okay, hey, you're the sloppy mess. We need to stop you from doing more harm than you're already doing to this dynamic. So you being out of contact is better than you begging and pleading and calling and texting countless times and all that sort of stuff. And if that's where you're at, then okay, fair enough. That might very well help you out. But if your intention with no contact is like, okay, hey, I'm in a good place emotionally. I'm actually in a pretty good place. I can handle my own emotions. I'm a grown adult. I can do all that sort of stuff. I've gone through the fire of missing my ex, of being heartbroken and all that stuff. Yeah, sure, I miss them, but it's not like I'm falling apart every time I think about the fact that we broke up or something like that. Then in my opinion, you don't really need to be in no contact. And in my opinion, the idea of using no contact as a tool to make them miss you or as a tool to gain power or something like that is probably, let's just say, misguided. What you want to do instead is you want to be exhibiting some positive relationship cues, um, and doing what you can do to start to set yourself up for having a great relationship. Okay. So what do I mean by this? Positive relationship cues. These are things that are pretty much universally agreed upon by most people. That these are what I want in a relationship. Like what is it most people want in a relationship? I want a partner who's accepting, a partner who's compassionate, a partner who's forgiving, a partner who's flexible, a partner who's understanding, a partner who's supportive, etc. These are positive relationship cues. Also, if you start thinking about where you or your ex might want to go in the future, you also might want to say, okay, well, do they want to get married? Do they want to settle down? Do they want to have kids? Do they want to do stuff like that? And if that's the case, then okay, start thinking about positive relationship cues through that lens as well too. What are some things that might make a good spouse? If I'm a guy, what are some things that might make good husband material? Can I step into those? If you're a woman, what are some things I could do that might make me good wife material and step into those? If you think, having kids is in your future, what are some things that might make a good parent and start to step into those? Patience, discipline, kindness, things like that, right? And so you can also add to these positive relationship cues very specific things that that your partner does value, like maybe it's a sense of adventure or something like that. Okay, great. These are things that when your partner sees these are going to scream to them, this is the kind of person that you should be going out of your way to date. This is the kind of person that you should be going out of your way to be in a relationship with. This is the kind of person you should be going out of your way to commit to. So that's the positive relationship cues. Aside from that, you also want to be basically acting like a mature adult through all of this, which means, hey, don't play mind games, don't withdraw, don't shut down, don't use no contact, because no contact is actually a negative relationship cue. If you're like, okay, I'm looking for someone who's going to support me, someone who's going to talk through hard times, someone who's going to work with me, just going dark, just going no contact, the way that a lot of people talk about it, is actually an anti-relationship cue. It says, hey, when the going gets tough, I go away. And that's not going to inspire a lot of people to want to commit to you if they're relationship ready themselves. That's not going to inspire a lot of people to say, hey, this is the right person for me, unless they're relationship ready themselves. Or if they are relationship ready themselves. Instead, what you want to do is you want to say, okay, well, from listening to these wonderful videos that Clay puts on here. By the way, hit the thumbs up button and subscribe. But from listening to these wonderful videos that Clay puts on here, I know that the three most important things in a relationship are cooperation, communication, and consistency. That's to say, being on the same team, communicating clearly, and building trust with one another. And so, what I want to do is I want to behave in a way that's going to demonstrate to my future partner that I can embody these sorts of things, that I can be on the same team with them, that I can communicate clearly with them, and that I can build trust with them. And let's be honest, no contact is not that. It doesn't really send that kind of message. So what you want to do is actually start to recruit them into having this same team dynamic with you. What you want to do is start to recruit them into having good communication with you. What you want to do is start to recruit them into building trust with you by obviously embodying these qualities yourself. Again, all of this is stuff that we cover in excruciating detail inside of New Beginnings. And this is stuff that, we'll obviously go over on Saturday when we do that question and answer live stream. Once again, you can sign up for that over at modernlove.live/NB. That is for all the New Beginnings students. We're doing a question and answer coaching call on Saturday morning. It'll be, sort of like the ones that we do here, except it's going to be like, talking, so we can actually hash out the details rather than me trying to piece it together from, a couple of comment chat text things that you post in the chat section. Not that I don't like doing this sort of stuff, but hey, there's often lots of details that are missed, and we can't even go into it as in depth as we could in a actual legit coaching call. Anyway, yeah, no contact. Is it right for you? I don't know. What do you think? Go ahead and drop a comment down below letting me know if you think no contact is the right choice for you. If you've done no contact, how has that worked out for you? Has it honestly been a mind game? Has it been a play for power? Has it been an attempt to, do something else? Has it just been a desperation move because you read on the internet that your ex is an avoidant? And, lo and behold, the only advice that they have for dealing with an avoidant person is to go no contact. And so you just did it because you just felt resigned and it was the only thing you could do. Anyway, drop a comment and let me know. But with that being said, let's go ahead and get over into the chat section and see what folks are talking about today. All right. So first up, we've got a question from Jackson. We are going to do the super chats first for reasons that we talk about all the time. But basically, I have to respond to them under the unwritten etiquette of the internet. So we're going to do them first to make sure that we have time to get to all of them. So Jackson says, say I'm out with my ex and someone comes up and shows interest in them and at some point asks if we are together. Obviously, I don't want to lie and say that we are, but I don't want to say friends and have them flirt or exchange information. What should I say? Also, me and my ex made plans for the next day. Then she backs out an hour before the day of. What's the best way to express that it's okay and you understand, but you're upset about you're upset and that it is um, wrong and unacceptable to make sure it doesn't happen again. Okay, let's go ahead and do this one here first. So, first of all, I would simply just start by saying, like, okay, hey, I understand things come up. I was really excited to spend some time with you. In the future, would you just please let me know as soon as possible if you're unable to make it, or if change your mind, or if you're losing enthusiasm or something like that. It's very difficult for me when, 1 hour before I get notice that, hey, this isn't going to happen, or you don't want to do it. That causes me to, have to drop plans and things like that. So if it's okay with you, please just let me know ahead of time. Again, just like really clear communication. Just express how it affects you, express understanding for what they're going through, and just leave that door open for them to have that good communication. Again, we're just kind of working with the whole triangle of commitment here. Um, so when it comes to someone saying like, "Hey, I think you're really hot. You wanna, go out sometime or something," and you're not sure how to deal with that because you're not really together, but you're it's just kind of something there. I mean, it really depends on exactly where the connection is between you and your partner. Like if it's getting kind of strong, you could just say like, so you know, I don't know the details, but let's just say, okay, you're a guy, she's a woman. Some other guy's coming up and trying to hit on her or something like that. You could easily just um, turn to her and say, "Hey, what do you want to do?" That way, you're letting her make the choice here. Okay, this isn't you versus the other guy. This isn't you intervening in and saying like, "Hey, don't get near my girl here. This is my girl. Is my I'm staking my claim on this person here." But instead, you're letting her make the choice because it's as they say in the sort of dating world. Um, you know, what is it? Men pick, women choose, or something to that effect. But basically, it means like, um, men make the initiative and they, approach a woman. And then the woman then has to choose which of the guys she wants to then be with, right? So in that respect, each person has their own role, at least in a sort of traditional kind of dating, meeting each other sort of circumstance here. And so in that respect, it's really her responsibility to say, yeah, um, I'd like to, no thanks. I'm here with my friend. I just don't feel it right now. Or, yeah, I am interested. Right. But, based on how she responds to that kind of situation, that's also revealing her character to you. That's revealing how she deals with intense situations. That's how she's dealing with intense emotions. That's how she is going to set herself up. And that's how she's going to also express her interest in you as well, too. And so actually situations like that are really important, not because they allow us to step in and force some sort of outcome like pulling her away from that and having her all to ourselves, but it allows us to see her character, which of course is our opportunity to see potentially positive relationship cues from her. Is she somebody who is able to act with tact? Is she someone who's able to take a stand for her own values if she does feel some sense of obligation to you? Or is she someone who's going to, have poor boundaries and just say yes because that's what the other person, wanted from her in that moment or something like that, even though she wasn't feeling it. It's also, shows her level of interest in you. So I actually wouldn't be worried about how to respond in that sort of situation. I just simply, see how she responds, invite her to do what she wants to do in that moment, because you don't want to have this sort of iron grip on someone. You want to give them the freedom to come and go, give them the freedom to get close to you, give them the freedom to not get close to you, because paradoxically that's actually what causes them to want to spend time with you, is that you have this spaciousness to accept them no matter what. Anyway, Jackson, hope that helps you out. Next up, we have STK Floods, who says, so my ex and I have a show together and we spend a lot of time together, but she is going to Texas next week just for a week, and she is moving in next year when the lease is up. We talk a lot, but she will not let me touch her at all, and she does not want to talk about the past and does not want to get back together. It's been almost 3 months, and I feel like she is now going to, where's the rest of this? Going to come uh, I guess not going to come back. Um, I don't know where to go from here. And when she does go to Texas, I'm not going to engage contact with her to see if she does or if she will miss me. Is that good or bad to try? Um, so okay, first of all, if it sounds like things are sort of tense between the two of you. You say that you talk, but she will not let you touch her, and she does not want to talk about the past or get back together. So I'm sensing that she's like kind of having a lot of this like pushing away kind of energy coming at this whole situation. So that's probably something that I would think you want to address first. So first and foremost, is there some sort of part of you that's still kind of clinging to that attachment to outcome, beyond just like, hey, here's an attractive person, I care about you? But is there that part of you that says, okay, we need to talk about the relationship now? Okay, I need to see if you're interested in me. I need to flirt with you really good tonight to see if you'll respond to me, even though there isn't some sort of circumstance that's setting that up right now, because you're thinking maybe like, several chess moves in the moment ahead or something like that. If that's the case, you need to get past that, and you need to start to really embody, the advanced relational skills and all that sort of stuff that we talk about in New Beginnings, and all that sort of stuff that we've been talking about on this channel for ages and all that. Because these are things that are actually going to allow you to tune in to the quality of the connection between the two of you and improve that. Because right now, if you're just kind of trying to hang on, if you're just trying to force this in a certain way, you're probably missing the emotional connection. And the more that you miss the emotional connection, the more that this is going to get more and more tense. And the more likely it's going to be that, she's just going to move out at the end of the lease period, or, this whole Texas thing is going to, turn to something else, or the rebound is going to turn into something else, right? Instead, what you want to do is you want to have that spaciousness. You want to have that spaciousness that we just talked about, where she can come or she can go, or she can get close to you or she can get far away from you, or whatever the case is that she wants to do. And you have that spaciousness to be okay with that. When you can truly embody that, that is going to be an incredibly attractive quality that's going to, potentially change things in an immeasurable sort of way. Anyway, that's what I think you need to focus on there, buddy. Moving right along. Let's see, I thought there was another one. Maybe, oh, there is another one. Oh, there we go. Okay, Jake. Jake says, after same team, did I miss the first part? Let me just scroll back. No, that's it. Okay. After the same team conversation, do I just continue to give her unlimited space once I've opened the door for her to reach out? She said, friends is a slippery slope right now, and we both expressed not being quite ready to talk every day or anything, but 2 weeks later and still nothing. I'm doing the work, and I know she is too based on clues, but geez, man, um, it's the difference between patience and cutting it completely. I don't think an accountability letter is in order after 2 contacts in 45 days. She called the first time before she was ready, and I called the second time 10 days later. Okay, so from what I'm getting here, it sounds like you had the same team conversation, and you're just giving her a lot of space and waiting for her to reach out. So first of all, this isn't what I'd recommend that you do. If you have the same team conversation and she agrees to it, what you want to do is you want to just start interacting with her the way that you want to, as if it's perfectly normal. Okay. If you want to talk to her, a couple times a week or something, just start doing that as if that's perfectly normal. If she starts to pull back, if she starts to object to it, if she starts to, become a little bit more reserved or something like that, take in that information, anchor back to the same team conversation, and check in with her and see if she's feeling uncomfortable for some reason. From there, you can adjust course as needed. But if she actually follows along with you, then okay, great. That's your new baseline for how you're supposed to interact with one another. But you don't want to just leave it to her after the same team conversation. You don't just want to leave it to her to set the tone for how the two of you are supposed to interact. Because if you do that, she might agree to the same team conversation, but she doesn't know what that means on a day-to-day basis. And so she's probably going to just default back to whatever was happening before, whatever feels safest, or whatever feels most conservative, or something like that. Because, she doesn't want to give you false hope. She doesn't want to lead you on. She doesn't know what this means. And so she's looking to you to set the tone and take the lead. So you need to be willing to do that, okay? Is an accountability letter in order? Probably not. Should you do no contact? Probably not. What you need to do is you need to anchor back and say, hey, remember how we talked about being on the same team? Well, from what I'm seeing, it seems like you're a little bit uncomfortable interacting with me. Is there something going on that we need to talk about? Is there something going on that I should know about? I don't want you to feel uncomfortable around me, or something along those lines. Anyway, that's what I see there in your situation there, Jake. All right, so those are our super chats. Let's go ahead and check in with the other folks here. We've got a couple more minutes here. Rock says, "Hey, I work with my ex, and we sometimes sit down and eat lunch in the same break room next to each other. And it's awkward because she won't say anything. Should I say something to make conversation or no?" Seriously, guys, you got to stop reaching for no contact as your strategy here. Like, I see zero reason why no contact is the right move here in this situation. Why are we suggesting this? This makes no sense at all. But no, what you want to do is you want to address the situation at hand, have a same team conversation, and do your best to try to bridge that emotional gap between the two of you so that you don't have to sit in this awkward situation between the two of you. Okay. Um, Next up, we have Unreleased Music and Beats says, "What if my ex told me we both should move on? Where did that come from? What was the context? Was that coming from a place of frustration? Was it coming from a place of emotional calm? Was it coming from a place of reflection? What's happened up until this point?" I don't know any of these things, so I can't really answer that question. But probably what makes the most sense is to check in with her, see where this is coming from. If it's something that can be worked through, go ahead and work through it by dropping the romantic pressure and getting on the same team. If it is coming from a more substantive place, then perhaps using something like one-way spikes or something like that to really check in with her to see if this is actually what she wants or if this is coming from an emotional place in the moment. Um, okay, yeah, there's another super chat here from STK Floods with, okay, so let's follow up here. Um, how do I build an emotional connection if she is blocked off from talking about how she feels and does not want to talk about it? So first of all, don't talk about um, the two of you as a couple right now. You don't want to do that. That's just going to increase the romantic pressure. You want to drop that as much as you possibly can at this particular point in time. Okay. You just want to talk about, um, again, I don't know how the two of you met for the first time and what your first date was like, but you want this to be like the textbook kind of first date sort of thing. I know everybody's relationship starts differently, but the kind of textbook first date is, hey, I see someone over there. You look kind of attractive. Let's talk. Let's get to know each other. Okay, now we're on a first date. Hey, so we're on this date here together. Let me know about you. Here's something about me. And then you just start getting to know each other. You just start sharing what's going on. So this could involve things like talking about, interesting things that happened to you that day, things that happened at work, dreams and goals that you have for the future, things that you want to do with your life, things that she wants to do with her life, how her day went, dreams and goals that she has for the future, concerns that she has, concerns that you have about life, not about the relationship, but about life in general. Things that you'd like more to do with your family, or things that you want to do with your friends, or certain things that you would do if certain conditions were in your life. Like if you could just go on a trip anywhere in the world with like zero consequence or something, and you don't have to worry about money or something like that, where would you go? Why would you do that? What would you want to do the most there? All sorts of things like that. These kinds of things give someone a glimpse into another person's character. They give them a glimpse into that person's personality and values, and it allows them to see themselves in that person's emotional state as well too. This is also kind of the beginning of emotional connection. Okay. So if she's not willing to open up herself emotionally, then you have to be willing to lead by example. You have to be willing to show a little bit of vulnerability yourself as well too. So, for example, like, okay, trip I want to take is, some of you may or may not know that my wife was born in the Philippines. She was adopted when she was a small child. And so she has all these like distant family members that she's not particularly close with back in the Philippines. And so we're thinking of like taking this big trip to the Philippines, probably in the winter, because, if you know me, I hate the winter and I just want to be in some tropical island in the winter. And hey, I could actually do that. So that's something that we're trying to sort out. We might do that this winter. I think it'd be a really cool experience. Of course, now that my daughter's here as well too, I want to expose her to her heritage as a, half Filipina girl and all that sort of stuff. Because that's not something that I had when I was young. I mean, I'm half Japanese. I didn't know what it meant to be Japanese when I was a kid, and it was kind of pre-internet era, so I couldn't just look it up and be like, oh yeah, look at that. I'm Hapa. Okay, that makes sense. But no, I mean, like I didn't know that. I didn't know any of that stuff, and so I felt this like big identity crisis as a result of that. I don't want my daughter to go through that. And so I want to have her exposed to all that. And of course, maybe we'll meet some cool people in the family. Maybe we'll restore that family connection and all that. That'd be really cool as well, too. Anyway, I mean, you see how I just opened up right there and just talked about some random thing. And you got a lot of information out of me, right? It wasn't a big conversation about us or anything like that. It was just like, okay, I'm just talking about something that I'd like to do. And now you know that my wife is Filipina. Now you know that I have a daughter who's half Filipina. Now you know that I want to go to the Philippines. Now you know that I hate winter and I would love to spend winter on a tropical island, and I might actually do that. Now you also know that I'm half Japanese, if you're unable to discern that. You know that growing up in the 90s, I did not know what that meant and had a big identity crisis because of that. Now, you also know that I don't want my daughter to experience that, and I want her to have a connection to her heritage. I mean, you know all kinds of things. And just by listening to that, you might feel a certain sense of connection with me because of that, even though you probably don't have most of those things in common with me. But yeah, that's basically how you would go ahead and build that emotional connection there. Anyway, hope that helps you out. And with that being said, once again, if you do want to join us on our group coaching call on Saturday, all you have to do is sign up for New Beginnings. This is a special group coaching call for all New Beginnings students on Saturday, 9 a.m. Pacific. Please join if that sounds right for you. Of course, if you're not able to be there live, you can get the recorded version afterwards. And you can ask a recorded question, and we'll go ahead and answer recorded questions later for people that the time zone doesn't make sense. You can just leave a voice message for us, and we'll go through those later on. Anyway, with that being said, once again, thanks so much for watching this video. Thanks so much for being here. Take care, and I'll talk to you next time.